Well, good evening, folks. Hi, this is the officially unofficial Geek Channel. This is my weekly comic review. Here we are again. Here we are again. Another week, another set of comics. Let's talk about it, shall we? Okay, so here's the deal. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, share my videos. Do that. Um, Comment. Let me know what you thought of what I read this week. And yeah, do all those things. All those things. All those things. I was thinking today, like, I really miss like those people that have been watching me for a bit now. I really miss doing a spoiler-tastic review where I basically just let it all come out. um I've been like dialing back on the spoilers lately because I've been doing the video earlier than I used to. Because I feel like it's more like a review show now rather than just me bitching about the comics each week. Um, which can be fun. It is a lot of fun, actually. Um, because believe me, there are things that I would have loved to have just gone completely spoiler-tastic on this week. And I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I don't know. You know what? You know what? Should I do it? Should I go completely spoiler-tastic on a Friday? Hmm. I mean, as long as I'm like marking it as spoiler-tastic, like spoilers here, should be okay, right? Right? Yeah. Maybe it is. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe you'll be fine. One moment, please. Okay, you know what? Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I consulted with people, one person, and they said as long as I am posting it, they being Joe, let's just be real. Bizarro Fett, Joe, yeah. He's in the next room. I asked him, you know, as long as I'm marking it and saying specifically, this is a spoiler video, we can go old school with this and do a spoiler test video on Friday. And he said yes, but you got to make sure people understand there are spoilers. So I'm going to put it in the name of the video, right? And I'm saying it right now, right? If you care about spoilers, don't watch this until you're done reading your comics. Because we're going to go old school, guys. We're going to go old school, officially unofficial geek. We're just gonna go balls to the wall and do it. This video is spoiler-tastic. Means I'm gonna talk about things in the books specifically. Specifically. Yes, indeedy. So let's do this. Well, we'll keep the old format for my ranking of videos. So like basically these are in no particular order. I do have a top 3 this week, and I will let you guys know when we get to the top 3. But let's do this. Old school, spoiler-tastic, officially unofficial geek, comic review on a Friday. Let's go for it, shall we? Bing bam boom. All right. So the first comic we're going to talk about is the main reason why I was so into the idea of going spoiler-tastic this week, because I really want to just let it all hang out involving this book. Let's talk for a moment. This, of course, is DC Universe Lazarus Planet Omega. Okay, so Omega. Let's start there. Omega, in typical settings, is referring to the last of something. It's the last letter in the Greek alphabet. And even supposedly, I think there's something in the Bible that says that Jesus said he's the Alpha and the Omega. I don't know much about that. Anyways, but it's beginning and the end. I am number one and I am last place. Both things, right? Omega being the end, last place. We're crossing the finish line, y'all. And I have an itch, sorry. And to name something Omega, that has a connotation that it's over. Now, we have next week we have Batman versus Robin #5, and then sometime after that we have a whole little series of Lazarus Planet specials with Shazam and Wonder Woman. So no, it is not Omega. But fine, let's talk about it like it is Omega by, general ideas and confines and connotations of the word, and definitions of the word. I didn't care. I didn't care. And I'm a person that feels pretty goddamn easily. Like, listen, I first of all, I will cry at the drop of a hat, and it's not hard to get me there. It's not. Um, there were moments here where I could tell that the writer was trying to get us there. Like, number one point in this where the author was trying to get us there. The author is trying to invoke us to have an emotion, which is right away. I'm going for it. I'm going for it, guys. Right away. Black Alice's death. Is it Black Alice or Dark Alice? Hold on. See, that's the problem. I can't even get the goddamn name straight, so that I'm sure of it. I just read this last night. Where's her goddamn name? She's yelling at Zatanna. Okay. Oh, come on. Hold on. They just keep on referring to her as Alice in here. No one's like Dark Alice or Black Alice or whatever. I can't find it. Okay, well, we're just gonna go by calling her Alice, okay? We're just gonna do that because, oh wow. Alright, so Alice's sacrifice should have meant more, but it didn't. You wanna know why? You wanna know why it didn't? Well, here we go, folks. It's because I barely knew her. Like, alas, poor Alice, I barely knew her. The problem is that we have this event that's being touted and advertised as being a major event. Now, you're going to have people that are going to say, no, it was not a major event. No. Okay, whatever. I know what I read. I know what I saw. I know what the connotation given to me was. And it was that it was a major event. It was being touted as a major event. Maybe it is not the kind of event that's happening and you have like the multiverse reforming or anything like that, like with Dark Crisis. That was also a major event. But you do not have to have some earth shattering major multiverse reforming thing happen to have a major event. You can have a major event and just be interesting at least. This was disappointing in that it just seemed like we could have taken all these middle issues that ended up, putting out their introductions. There's like a few cool things like here and there, right? I'm don't get it twisted. There's a couple things here and there that were cool. I really like would have loved to have seen them develop more on the whole Power Girls powers are different. Flatline's powers are different. Maybe, expand on that a little bit more. There would have been a little bit more room to expand on, but there's seriously a lot of moments in those like issues in between Alpha and Omega where they're just random stories and introductions to new characters or reintroductions to characters. So those introductions or reintroductions of characters really did not need to happen in this backdrop. Not at all. The thing is basically it was, let's introduce you to this character that has these powers that we haven't seen before or we haven't seen in a very long time amidst the backdrop of Lazarus goo falling from the sky. Lazarus goo falling from the sky. Say it 3 times fast, folks. Lazarus goo falling from the sky. Lazarus goo falling from the sky. Lazarus goo falling from the sky. We didn't need those stories with that backdrop. What would have been nice would have been a cohesive story told like a little saga of, oh my god, guys, the fucking Lazarus volcano blew up. It blew up, started spewing Lazarus goo everywhere. And I'm still not completely sure what happened with the whole Batman thing. As I read it carefully. I'm not even completely sure what happened with the whole Batman thing. Maybe that gets resolved in the next issue. But I'm going to tell you one thing. In that first issue, we had Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy fighting together. I'll be damned if I know what happened to fucking Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing after reading this. I don't know. You've got all kinds of characters on this page, and let me tell you something, not all of them, showed up here. Would have been cool. Would have been cool to have, like a spanning, oh shit, the Lazarus goo is falling, story, but we didn't get that. There's moments in this story. I don't know why my ankle itches so much. This is so weird. Okay, there are moments within this thing that they were written like they were supposed to affect me more. And I hate when somebody acts like they were supposed to affect me more and then it doesn't. Because then it's almost like I've got the best fucking story, right? And then they tell you their story and you're like, meh. Because that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened to me with this. Dark Alice, whatever Alice, gives them all back their magic and it kills her. This is something that should have affected us more. And it would have affected me more if we had had a solid 4 to 6 issues of cohesive story. And I'm not even, don't come at me with, but there's Batman versus Robin. Come on. Come on. That story is about the beginnings of all this. That story results in Lazarus Planet blowing up, like the Lazarus volcano blowing up, starting to spew Lazarus goo everywhere. And they were talking like everybody's power, tons of people's powers are going to change. We had a couple people's powers change, and some people's powers change here and there. Man, I thought it was going to be one of these whole like misadventure things where it's like all of a sudden, like I don't know, all of a sudden Batman can heat vision somebody. Like just as a for instance. But no, like I don't even get and then it's like what the hell happened with the goddamn, demon? Like is he like the Papa demon like was all like I'm going to stop baby demon now? Like I didn't get that. I didn't get that. And what the fuck happened with Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy? What happened? What happened, guys? They were there. They were like, oh yeah, of course we showed up. All this stuff is, affecting our planet. Of course we're showing up. If you recall, that's exactly how that went down. And it was cool. And then all of a sudden Batman looks like a weird demon slash green thing. And then like nothing came of it. Barely anything came of it. It wasn't really Batman. I guess. I don't know. Then we find out that we have another event coming later on this year. Night Terrors. I don't know. I don't know, guys. This did not make me very all excited for DC events at this point. I wanted to feel more for that character. Like seriously, like I wanted to feel more for it, and I'm pissed off that I didn't feel more for Alice and her sacrifice. It's like, oh, cool, everybody's got their stuff back now. Bye. Yeah, I think I'm done talking about that one. I spent a lot of time talking about that one. I think I'm done. Okay, so we have a new book. This week it's a Marvel book, guys. I read a Marvel book. Captain Britain. Betsy Braddock is Captain Britain. Okay, so like being completely honest with y'all, I had no idea going into this. I had no clue. I will tell you that there's a couple info dumps that did help. So if you're not familiar with Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock, or any of the people involved in that, any of the characters involved in that, but you are interested in King Arthur, Avalon type stuff, um, and you're looking to get into a number one that at least you can kind of figure out, well, then give it a shot. The thing that really brought me in, not that it was a number one, was that it was written by Teenie Howard, and I have been liking what I've been reading from Teenie Howard so far. So she's also writing, she's co-writing Punchline with Blake Howard. She is the current writer for Catwoman. She is taking over Harley next month. And so it's like, okay, let me take a look, right? Let me check this out. So basically, what you've got going on here is Betsy Braddock is taking over the role of Captain Britain, um, but because she's kind of just out there, all all together, doing stuff for everyone, and basically is multidimensional and everything like that. She's not wearing the Union Jack. She's doing all these things. People, British people as a whole, do not like Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain. They much prefer her brother, who is now taking the helm of Captain Avalon. Um, so she has this whole, public opinion problem. She also has uh, these beings, these avatars that are jumping dimension to dimension, universe to universe, and challenging the Captain Britain of that universe. So see what happens is you have Betsy Braddock, who is the main Earth 616 Captain Britain, but then you have other dimensions and you have other versions of Captain Britain, and they all have a way to communicate with each other, and they all deal with each other. They all help each other out, and it's basically it's the Captain Britain Corps, um, and so it's very interesting. Very for me being a DC girl, it's very like Green Lantern Corps kind of stuff. Um, we have Ashley Summers here is basically Betsy Braddock's girlfriend. Um, and let's see here. You have the X of Swords getting involved. You have different characters like Morgan Le Fay is here. Um, she's going on. Betsy Braddock is going on different um, media outlets, and it's very much like a whole like Pierce Morgan kind of thing, like or like Fox News kind of thing, where they're like, oh, they're critical of her and everything. So she's dealing with the fact that people are salty with her in Great Britain, and she's like dealing with the avatars and everything like that. She comes to find out that somebody has basically it is basically getting the avatars and the what is the name of the dude? Hold on. I will check it out. I forget. I read this. It's one of the first books I read. Uh, Like literally, it's so cute. There's a dinosaur, Captain Britain. Yeah, like guys, there's a dinosaur. Um, let's see here. So, they go to Infuri, the land of the Everforge and kingdom of the Furies. Okay, it's not avatars. Excuse me. It's Furies. Excuse me. Sorry. Um, she talks to the Forge Master Federal. Um, and lets them know that one of their furies was basically taken out because um, they were attacking one of the universes. Um, so she comes to find out in this whole process that it seems like somebody has tapped the Everforge and the Furies to be kind of like a better hero for Britain, and that's of course not cool. Um, so they're working with they're trying to work with Strike, and I don't know much about Strike honestly, um, except that they have an alliance going on right now. They're going to work together, and you have Morgan Le Fay is basically, it seems like Morgan Le Fay is the big mastermind behind everything going on. Um, this was an interesting story. It was a cute story. It was exactly what I expected from Teenie Howard. Um, is it something I'm going to keep up with? Well, I'm going to make probably a game day decision on that one when it comes back up again. I don't know if it's necessarily anything that's really all that hot to me right now. But you know, I I'm probably at least gonna get the second issue to see if it to see what happens from where it went, because literally you have Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock facing Morgan Le Fay. So that's how it ends up. I'm gonna check it out. I think maybe issue 2, but then again, it is still probably gonna be a game day decision. The next issue that we're gonna talk about is Nightwing 101, and here's the thing. I know I might catch some flack for criticizing the almighty Tom Taylor, but I'm gonna anyway. I'm gonna do it. Typically, I like his work. He gets brought in to events and he rocks the crap out of them, right? Like he's writing this deceased right now that I haven't read myself, but I've heard great things about. He, you know, the injustice. He's got the knights. Oh God, what is it called? Knights of Steel, um, and he's writing these like short term uh events or mini series, more like not less events, more mini series, and he's hitting it out of the park with those, right? So you give him something like Nightwing, which one, I'm worried this is going to become a Titans book, and I don't want it to become a Titans book. I want the Titans to have a separate book. I want Nightwing to be Nightwing. I want Nightwing to be he is the guardian of Bloodhaven, blah blah blah. Okay? But I can push that aside for this particular reason that I'm about ready to tell you. You've heard me use this term before, this evening. Cohesive plot. If if Tom Taylor is looking to not have a cohesive storyline and be episodic in nature, that's fine, but you also have to not be bringing up stuff every once in a while from some other issue. If you want it to be something that people can just jump in and read, that's fine. However, you're clearly not making something that people can just jump in and read. Um, so that isn't it. That's not the problem. The problem is that it seems to be like a little bit of plot jumping. Um, we come into the infinite frontier writing of Nightwing, which is like I think early seven no excuse me late 70s of Nightwing. Like when I say 70s, I mean like issue numbers, not like decade. Um, so we come into that, and right out the gate, it's telling this story about a guy pulling people's hearts out of their chests. And then all of a sudden, it's shifted. Okay, so like you have the storyline of somebody's pulling hearts out of chests, and he's going to do the Alfred Pennyworth Foundation. Okay, so then you've got that going for a couple issues, right? Then all of a sudden it becomes this is about Blockbuster and Maria Zuko and her being his sister, half sister. Then you go back to Heartless after for a little bit. Then you go back to Blockbuster. It's like this whole back and forth thing. And to be completely honest with you, They spend enough time on the whole somebody's trying to kill Nightwing that's not heartless. Um, somebody somebody is trying to foil Nightwing's plan involving making a better Bloodhaven, and that's going on for so long that when Heartless pops up again, you're like, oh wait, what? Oh yeah, that's that dude that they didn't much they did something with and then they didn't do much with for a long while. I kind of remember him. And so then we have him pop up a little bit, right? We get the annual, which is a backstory of Heartless, which, okay, cool, that answers some questions. Then you have Heartless leading that whole, like, behind the scenes leading the prison revolt, right? And then you have everything unfolding with Dark Crisis. Then you have the Batmite stuff, which is what they're revisiting, or not Batmite, excuse me, Nightmite stuff, which is what they're revisiting now. There's some other stuff that happens in between there. So we had the prison riot. We have a couple issues since then, and Heartless has now gone away again. So how much of a threat is Heartless? Is Heartless really a threat? Is Heartless really part of Nightwing's rogues gallery, or what have you? Because I don't know. Because if you leave it without Heartless being in a book for so much long again, I'm gonna forget it again. Despite that, it's still a really well written book, but and it's entertaining. It's well written because it's entertaining, honestly. And that's about all I have to say about it. But I don't want I don't want to be sitting there reading and in a few months being like, oh yeah, that's that Heartless dude. I want more development of that storyline instead of going back and forth between multiple storylines. That would be nice. Let's see here. Okay, guys, so we're in the top three for this week. So the first one we're going to talk about, and top three is in no particular order. They're just the three favorites that I had this week. And we're going to talk about Barbaric Hell to Pay #2. This is from Vault Comics and so much fun to read. We have two little storylines going on right now. We have Soren and all them trying to do what they need to do to help Owen get out of hell. And then we have Owen in hell. Um, so Owen has been transported to hell, and he has ran into his old team leader Deadheart, and Deadheart is kind of showing him the ropes around hell. In the last issue, Deadheart basically picks him up on the back of a dragon, and they go right off together. And they're like, "Here, let me show you what's up, buddy." And so at this point it's kind of like they're in like some kind of like weird Valhalla, having like this warriors battle every day, and at the end of it they all party, um because they can't die. They just do this, right? There are frog people, and immediately I'm thinking of Sam Hell Goes to Frogtown. So if you never actually watched that, that is a Roddy Piper film. Is more than likely very hard to find, but I would try YouTube. Um, so you have these human-sized frogs, and apparently, like the one group is fighting the frogs, and there's this whole storyline that they've made up, and Owen's like, okay, so we're just supposed to fight these, frogs. That's what we're doing. And and Deadheart's like, "Oh, you don't understand. These guys, they are vile." And she like whispers in his ear, and he's like, "All right, it's on," basically. And he goes nuts. And the thing is like Owen is not really dead, but not really alive. He's just kind of stuck in hell. So Deadheart realizes that he's all perplexed involving that, and her froggy boy boyfriend are going to help him get an audience with someone that is probably the reason why he's there and the only way he's going to be able to get back. And stakes are really high here because if he goes over there and he fails, then he'll be like completely gone completely. So that's a problem. And then you have Soren with the axe and that company, Steel, and the person that they found in the previous issue. They are headed to do what they need to do with her to get help from her to help Owen. And basically, by the end of that, they run into some supernatural, magical beings, and the only one that can realize what's going on here is Soren. And Soren ends up running into with the group um, somebody that wants her to work with them, and they're not a good guy. Um, so that's pretty much that there. Um, I really love the characters in this book. I really love the storyline. I love the humor that's in here. This is so much fun to read. If you're not reading Barbaric, let me just tell you something, guys. The axe, Owen's axe, well, right now is being wielded by Soren. The axe is animated, and the axe gets drunk off of the taste of blood. And it's wisecracking, smart talking axe, and it's hilarious, and I love it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Props to the writers here, the creative team on the cover here: Morassi, Gooden, Duke, and Campbell. This is again, it's Vault. There's a few different mini series involving Barbaric. This one is just issue 2 of Hell to Pay. Um, if you want to get in on this level, basically, Owen is in hell because he was sent there, and he's trying to get out, and his friends are on Earth still, or what may be Earth, trying to figure out how to help him get out. Other than that, I would recommend reading as much Barbaric as you can get your hands on. But it's one of those things where it's like you could probably still find some enjoyment reading Hell to Pay 1 and then 2, which is that one. And then while you're reading this, going back and reading it kind of like a prequel, the other stuff. Um, you can do that. You could probably do that and be okay. This is not like huge info dumps needed to read Barbaric. I jumped in on the number 1 of the last miniseries, and I was okay. I still enjoyed it. I really liked it. So obviously I'm still reading it. But yeah, I would do that if anything that I've said about that, somebody in hell trying to get out of hell, but also kind of enjoying themselves. People trying to get their friend out of hell that's also kind of enjoying themselves, but not really. Um, and all that, while also being in possession of an axe that can talk, wisecracks, and gets drunk on blood. Run, don't walk. Pick up Barbaric. And like I said, you can start with this Hell to Pay issue 1 and pick it up, and then just, if you like it, if you think that it's something you might be interested in, go back, grab the others, read them kind of like a prequel, like you're reading while you're reading the Hell to Pay series. That would probably work out actually just fine. The next book I'm going to talk about that I read this week in the top 3 is going to be Superman #1. This is reintroducing the Clark Kent Superman run, written by Joshua Williamson, art by Campbell. This was a lovely story. I'm really enjoying it. This whole issue back, kind of setting it up, something that could possibly be very interesting long game for Lex Luthor. So Lex Luthor has been put in jail because of the goings on of a couple Action Comics before, where he was arrested for what he was doing, brought in by Superman, and now Lex Luthor knows that Superman has finally tuned his ability to hear long distances to certain people. One so the people that, and he mentions this in the book, the people that he is fine tuned to hearing very easily are as follows, like the ones that get mentioned, okay, in the book: John, his son, Lois, Bruce, and Lex Luthor. So right there, it's really interesting. The most important people besides Ma and Pa Kent to Superman, one is his wife, one is his son, the third is his presumed best friend, okay? And the last one is his greatest enemy. So he is like in the middle of doing all the things that he's doing, and Lex is hearing about it on TV, and he's talking about it. And he's like, he knows that Superman can hear him. And so he's like trying to egg Superman on, like, I'd just break his leg, that kind of thing. And he's like, no, hush, don't talk to me right now. And he's keeping his cool with everything. And then all of a sudden, Lex puts into effect, through Mercy Graves, excuse me, this little like nanobot like change to LexCorp. Since he's in jail, they switch it to Supercore, and basically sign, overall, you know, the daily activities and decisions, and the person that's supposed to be running it, um, they sign it all over to Superman. But Superman's not really like into it. No, he's not really into it. He tries to reject it in every way, shape, or form that he can, and Mercy Graves is there to basically tell him no dice because of this, no dice because of that, and he is getting hit at every turn with this. And now he's dealing with a monster right now that supposedly, if I'm understanding what I'm reading correctly, this monster is out to mess with Lex Luthor. It says it's supposed to be continued. It's like, you're not dealing with your enemies, you're facing mine. That's what Lex says to him. Um, yeah. So, and I think honestly, like after that moment, is to be continued in the next issue. But after that moment, we have like a little epilogue here that I honestly think probably has something to do with the event that just got. Thinking about it now, it probably has something to do with the event that just got um, announced officially. Night Terrors. says coming to Superman, danger, horror, adventure. And it says there's like little voice bubbles that are just like Jor-El told Krypton that it was doomed and no one believed him. This world is now also doomed. Will the people here believe you? And then it flips over to this. So it's going to be some kind of Night Terrors is supposed to be some kind of like horror based type of thing. Um, so maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not sure. So one thing that needs to be asked is what is Lex's long game here? Um, it seems like maybe there's a possibility that Lex really does sincerely need Superman's help. But then again, you also have a number of questions involving what else is Lex trying to pull Superman close for. So obviously we'll see that in the coming issues, hopefully. So that's something to look out for. The final book that I'm going to talk to you guys about this evening is another Teeny Howard book that actually I was super apprehensive in the beginning because I fell so much in love with Ron V's writing of Catwoman that when she took over, I was very I was ready to be hypercritical, um, but it has taken Catwoman, and she took Catwoman and she turned it into a just really kind of cool, like noir detective kind of thing. And Catwoman is really trying to go after the organized crime element that victimizes women. I like that. I don't like that they're victimizing women. That's not what I'm saying. Obviously, I don't like that they're victimizing women, like, duh. Um, I like the idea of Catwoman going after these people. Um, and it's been going hardcore with that ever since. And recently she set her eyes on what was going on with Punchline. So, long story short, what we got going on right now is Catwoman had teamed up for a while with somebody named Valmont, and Valmont um, tried to kill Batman. When Valmont made a move to kill Batman, Catwoman instead defended Batman and killed Valmont. So Selina is now in jail. And oh, by the way, in the whole process of that going on, there was a building that blew up. Old Ace Chemicals location in Alleytown. So the the police and prosecutors and everything like that, the police and everyone all think that number one, she killed two people. Number two, that she also orchestrated the blowing up of the building. So technically, she killed Valmont, and that's about it. She killed Valmont to keep him from killing Bruce Wayne. And the way Bruce was reacting to Valmont when before it happened, it wasn't just him being jealous. It was Bruce knew something that nobody else knew. And all that. That was the kind of thing, and nothing's really come of that, so I don't know exactly how true that intention for the writing was. But we now have Catwoman. She is in Selina. She is in jail. She is orchestrating, and going through everything that she's going through. She has handed over the reins of being Catwoman to Iko. Iko is also trying to get information from Bean, who she is, who is the leader of another crime family. But she's kind of ticked off that the boys club won't let her in. So she's completely fine being Catwoman right now to try and ruin them. And then you have Dario, who is basically made up his own new superhero um, hero name, Tomcat. He has his own identity alias, Tomcat. I love it. I love it. And Selena, every so often, will get herself sent to solitary, which happens in this book, in this issue. So that because she found out when she gets sent to solitary, there's a way for Duchess to come visit her. Duchess being one of her cats. And Duchess will carry notes, typically between Selena and Dario. Um, this time, Duchess shows up and she has a note from Bruce. Bruce apparently has been showing up to feed Selena's cats while she's gone. Because he put in the note, he's just like, I came to feed, I keep making sure she's fed, but I think Dario is also feeding her. That just touched my heart. And then there's like, she's sitting there and she's just like, this is somebody that knows me better than anyone, and everything with good reason. And she writes him back. She's just like asking for advice. She asks, she writes him back, puts it in on Duchess. Duchess runs out, you know, with the note, and it's for him. And she's asking him for advice. And what I absolutely love is what happens, because Duchess comes back with a message, and it is from him again. Um, so his response, I absolutely just I loved it, because it just proves that she is his lobster, and he is her lobster. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's something from Friends. Um, it's kind of like mating for life, um, that kind of thing, like penguins. Um, he says back to her, he says, "Cat, you don't need my advice. There aren't many people I'd say that to, but you don't. You're better than I am at finding your people, at giving them what they need. It's what you do best." Let's see here, and there's some other stuff that happens here. She also asks Bruce information about certain people. People always think, and it continues what he says to her, people always think of you as a thief, as someone who takes. But what you really do is give. You come to the conclusions I couldn't and I wouldn't. You are kind of clever that I would never be. That makes me think Gotham and the world really needs your mind. Contrary to popular belief, I love having these talks with you. I've always liked our arguments about moral philosophy. They've led to some of our biggest fights and some of the best nights of my life. I think you are I think you just need to hear what it is you do best and be reminded of it. I know better than to tell you what to do. So I'll just remind you. When it comes to criminals, you're truly the world's greatest. Make them look up to you. So then that's what she does. She starts working with them to try to improve upon, who they are, and their ability to steal and their ability to live and provide for themselves in prison, and stuff that they could use when they're not in prison, to help themselves. She starts doing that, and it is just really awesome. I love what he says to her about being like, we may argue, we might disagree, but our arguments are some of the best things that have ever happened to me. And that is just like, that's really cool. That's one of those things where it's like, when you can be with someone, you can be like, okay, we debate and we don't always agree, but even when we don't agree, it's still really cool. Um, and he values her in the way she thinks that much. And it's something that really is just like, really just brings her out of any kind of funk that she's in. And she goes and she's like, okay, I'm going to help these people and I'm going to work with these people and I'm going to get them to like me. Because she really goes from them like not wanting anything to do with her to them now standing around, hanging out with her and being happy with her and everything. And so you also have instances where you have a attorney, a lawyer, talking to her, and she's like, I know better than to think that you did everything that they're saying you did, and I'm going to prove it. And so I think that's kind of how we get to the point where we get her out of jail at a certain in a certain amount of time. So we'll have to see what happens there with that. But overall, I really love the whole, Catwoman is a detective as well kind of situation that we have going in this book. And just being the person that's like, I am not the best person in the world, but I do have a moral compass. That's who she is. She has a very good moral compass. And she's using her connections and who she is and everything like that to try to do some good. And I do really enjoy that storyline. Um, Plus, there was a moment where she totally, like, not in this issue, but like a few issues back, she totally breaks Black Mask's mask. And that's like, she's just like, oh yeah, you're a fucker, and then breaks it, right? That was really cool. I've been loving this series. Should be why I decided to give other stuff that Teeny Howard has written a try as well. And it's going okay so far, guys. It's going okay. But yeah, that's it for today. I've spent enough time talking your ears off about comics. Um, Please like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the comics we're reading. Maybe there's a comic I missed, and you gotta be like, hey, Carrie, what about this? Check this out. I welcome that. Please do that. Let me know. Um, but anyways, guys, just to let you know, I am moving, and there's a possibility that I might not have enough time to do my comic review for next week in a timely fashion, but I will try the best I can to do that. This is probably, possibly, unless I can get another comic review in before the actual move happens, this is probably the last video I'm doing in this apartment. And I'm tickled pink about that. So anyways, I will try very hard to do my video next week. I might miss a week. It's okay though, because I'll be back. But in case I am able to do my video, you'll just get to be surprised that I was able to do my video. Anyways, guys, that's it for right now. This has been the officially unofficial Geek Channel weekly comic review that happened to be spoilertastic because, well, I really wanted it to be. And I guess until next time, keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something. Remember, the complacent never make a difference. And I'll be seeing ya